the boss strike grind. What's up, gentlemen? In today's video, I wanted to put together another top 10 list, but this one is the best units for boss strikes. This will include units that are in your main or tier 1 formations where they're the first to be used and likely the first to die. Then tier 2 where you swap to these units after most of your tier 1s are dead and are healing. Then tier 3s where this is either Frankenstein formations or just spamming the cheapest units where it's basically just a suicide run. This list is based on units we can obtain within the level cap of 49 and will definitely change in the future. Let's begin with our very first contender, which is the TF2 Soldier. This unit can be trained at the barracks at level 13 for gold, iron, and wood, and is one of the more prominent units in the early game. It has 2 attacks unlocked by default that are both pretty alright. The first is a rocket launcher shot, which deals very solid damage in a cross pattern with 25% armor piercing, a 30% chance to light things on fire, and some really nice crit rates. But the really awesome part of this attack is the cross pattern actually has consistent damage with no fall off, which is nuts. The next attack is the grenade toss, which deals a bit less damage in a 1x3 pattern with 15% armor piercing, and also has some alright crit chances, but other than that, it's pretty lackluster. As of level 49, we're able to rank this guy up to R4 where it has 270 health, which is a bit low, but later on this guy gets up to 485 at R8, plus gets a bit of armor, which is nice. The one huge drawback to this unit, however, is the healing price where it costs gold, iron, and 1 to 2 bars, which kinda makes you want to just train another instead of healing one because it's cheaper for some reason. Moving on though to our number 9, which is the Frontier Trucker, which you unlock at level 37 at the Frontier HQ and costs gold, stone, steel, and 14 to 16 merits. This is by far the best unit from the Frontier HQ and can definitely pack a punch. It has one attack where it hurls stones in a cross pattern dealing decent damage, and at first glance it doesn't look too insane, but then you check the crit rates out, and you realize this fucker gets up to a 70% chance to crit at rank 6. Pair that with pretty quick cooldowns, and you can fuck up shit really fast. The health on it is the only downside, getting up to 270 at R6, but the fact that all it takes to heal is just gold and a tiny bit of steel makes it one of the better mid to backline units that's also pretty expendable. At number 8, we actually have our first nano unit, being the Brutalizer or the Brute, which you unlock at level 48 at the Vehicle Factory for 70 nanos. It has 2 attacks, starting with the one that you get by default, which is a metal shred that deals amazing damage with a fantastic crit bonus against vehicles, but cannot attack anything but vehicles and tanks, making it sort of a specialist. The second attack is unlocked at rank 4 for 40 nanos and 5 gears, and it is a lot like the first attack, but it hits in a 1x3 pattern and deals a tiny bit less damage, along with having a slightly smaller crit bonus, but the area attack definitely makes up for that. It has an alright amount of health, getting up to 500 combined at R6, and you would think this unit would take gears or widgets to heal, but no, it literally just costs gold and oil, which is absolutely nuts. The only thing holding this guy back is the fact that it only can attack vehicles and tanks, which honestly is kind of balanced. Next up at number 7, we have another nano unit, and it is surprisingly the medium tank. You unlock this unit at level 30 at the Vehicle Factory for 55 nanos, and this may be somewhat controversial, but you'll find out why this guy is pretty nice for boss strikes. It has 2 attacks. The first is your average tank shell that deals alright damage with 75% armor piercing. The second attack is also just your generic bullshit tank machine gun that costs 8 nanos, deals no damage at all, and is generally considered a waste. The health isn't too bad though, getting up to 455 combined at R6, but here comes the part that makes this thing pretty interesting. It just costs gold, oil, and steel to repair, and only takes 6 minutes at a max level advanced repair bay. This is absolutely nuts because most units take between 40 minutes to 2 or so hours to repair, whereas this little man is ready to go almost instantly. This makes it one of the best units for when you're out of troops and you're just doing fucko formations. Moving along, we have number 6, which is a unit that we actually unlocked fairly recently, being the Lightning Tank. You unlock this at level 49 at the Vehicle Factory for 60 nanos, and it is an interesting play on the standard tank lineage. It has one attack where it shoots lightning in a U pattern and deals alright damage with 25% armor piercing, has a 30% chance to stun, and a decent crit bonus against tanks. This unit definitely shines in the middle row, and can definitely be a help for stunning units while also doing pretty good damage. The health on it is alright for a midline unit, getting up to 465 at R6, although the price to heal is kinda lame, costing gold, oil, steel, and 1 to 2 gears. Breaking into the top 5, we have the heavier tank, which we unlocked recently at level 47, and you can build them at the vehicle factory for gold, oil, steel, and 3 to 4 widgets. The heavier tank is the best free-to-play tank in the entire game, meaning if you're not spending nanos, this will be your main frontline unit. It has 2 attacks, the first being a tank round, which does very solid damage with 75% armor piercing. It is pretty good, but the first couple levels with it are pretty aids because the offense is really low. The second attack is a machine gun that you thankfully unlock by default, and it does pretty bad damage with no armor piercing or crit bonuses. In terms of health, however, the heavier tank is decently strong, getting up to 840 health and armor at R6, which is very solid. The healing cost is somewhat shisty, however, costing gold, oil, steel, and 1 to 3 gears, which honestly isn't totally bad. Moving on to number 4, we have a similar unit, but it costs nanos, and it is the super tank. You unlock this at level 32, and they can be trained at the vehicle factory for 70 nanos. The super tank in a lot of ways is very similar to the heavier tank, but pretty much better in every single way. First off, the tank shell does more damage with the same 75% armor piercing, which is really nice. However, weirdly, the machine gun attack is actually quite a bit worse, while also costing 25 nanos to research, and all you get is just shitty damage. But with the health and repair costs, we have some differences. The super tank gets up to 850 combined at R6, and to heal, it's got one of the best health to healing ratios in the game, just costing gold, steel, and oil, which is fucking amazing. Now entering the top 3, we have one of the best units currently in the game, with that being the Veteran. You unlock this unit at level 47 at the barracks, and costs 75 nanos to purchase. It shouldn't come as a surprise how useful these guys are for not just normal encounters, but especially boss strikes. They have 3 attacks that are all unlocked and equipable right out of the box. The first is a single target burst down where it does very solid damage with 65% armor piercing, and also deals explosive damage, meaning it's actually fairly useful against armored enemies. The next is a 1x3 burst down where it deals less damage but has 50% armor piercing, plus gets the bonus of having a 30% base crit, which is nuts. The last attack is a grenade launcher shot where it deals great damage with 70% armor piercing and has a base crit of 30%, which is really nice. The health on the vet is also extremely solid, getting up to 520 at R6, and if you're not familiar with the vet, there are 2 stats that make this thing a literal god, that being the 105 defense and the 75 dodge. These 2 stats make vets practically unkillable, and will typically make them one of the last units to die in the formation. Funny enough, it's also very possible to fully kill the Ancient Construct with only one of these at R6, which should show you how amazing they are. And even when they do die, it's not like healing a Salamander or a Field Asian, because these things just take steel and gold to heal, which is utterly amazing. Moving on, we have the second best unit for boss strikes in Battle Nations, and it is none other than the Unmanned Machine Gun Turret. You unlock this at level 42 at the vehicle factory for literally just gold. There are very few things wrong with this unit. It has 2 attacks unlocked by default, the first being a machine gun sweep, dealing very solid damage with 25% armor piercing, along with having the ability to hit the entire front and middle row when placed in the front. The second attack is honestly kind of lame, with it being an anti-air RNG shot, which stat-wise is the exact same, but it's not consistent at all. And the first attack is actually able to hit air anyway, so it's pretty useless. In terms of health, however, we do have one minor fault, with it only getting up to 190 at R6, but that's completely fine because to heal it, it just costs gold and oil, plus can be repaired very quickly. Overall, this unit is fantastic, it counts as a defense slot and gets so much value while also being stupidly cheap. You really should be mass producing these things as much as you can because they are amazing. But finally, at our number 1 slot, we have the best unit for boss strikes, and it's pretty obvious what it is. It is the Wimp. You can't have a list like this without including the Wimp somehow because of just how stupid and amazing it is. You unlock this at level 12 at the barracks, where it literally just takes gold to produce, and for a while it's pretty awful, with it only having one attack, being the shitty rifle spray that deals no damage whatsoever with terrible offense. But once you get through the treacherous grind and reach rank 6 with it, you can research its 2 main attacks, that being the punch and the clap. These attacks are basically the exact same, with both costing 1 laurel and 10 vials, dealing the exact same damage, having the same 50% armor piercing, and the same crit rates and bonuses. The only difference is the patterns, where the punch is a 1x3 frontline attack, and the clap is in a column. Attacks aside, the health on the Wimp is also pretty alright, getting up to 350 at R6, but also takes 15% additional damage from the fire damage type, which is a hindrance, but it is definitely manageable. The part that makes this unit very dumb is the heal price and heal time, where it just costs gold and only takes 54 seconds at a max level advanced hospital. Meaning you will basically never run out of Wimps to use, granted you have the gold and space to heal them. Overall, this unit is very stupid, and you should be making hundreds if not thousands of these things because they will be the ultimate fallback option during boss strikes. But that's pretty much it for this ranking video. I was going to include an honorable mentions for units that could be used, but if I'm going to be honest, there's a case to be made for countless units such as the Field Asian, Turtle Sheller, Salamander, Lightning Trooper, Lightning Dragoon, Demo Man, Heavy, Dustwalker, Arch Cannoneer, Advanced Crawler, the Colossus, Arch Shredder, Light Chem, Heavy Chem, Brimstone, Frontier Minuteman, Dexter, and Sinister Frags, etc. But I didn't want to make this video 5 hours long, so I mainly just kept it to the original 10. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, consider dropping a like or a sub. But on that note, I hope you guys are all having an amazing day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. The second attack is unlocked at rank 4 for 40 nanos and 50 gears. 50 gears?